Alrighty. That seems to be it. Mic seems to be working. I guess we can start hopping towards it. I hope you folks are doing well. This is going to be an interesting one. I'm not 100% sure what's going to come of it, but here we are. Howdy, folks. I'm Cody with IronVerse Comics. This is entitled IronVerse Comics Rights and Other Things. I think we're actually going to be other things first. Generic store brand coffee. Caffeine of kings. I hope you folks are doing well. What's today? Thursday, I believe. It's a Thursday. Someday in September. Barely someday in September, though. It looks like September's almost over. And we're moving into the fall. It's starting to get cold. Starting to get cold and a little. Eh, not yet. Not yet. Definitely getting cold, though. Let's see. Trying to think. If there is anything in particular I want to cover before we hop into what hopefully will be a relatively consistent stream. I'd like to do it at least twice a month. I'd like to do it 4 times or more, but me committing to dates has never been all that strong. It's never been that great. So, uh, we'll see what can happen. We'll see what can happen. Well, the rights part shouldn't be too difficult. The other things part is trying to figure out how much I'd like to share and how much I should wait. And that's being a toughie. I kind of just hopped into this thing. I wanted to stream today. I knew that much. And I definitely knew one angle of what I want to stream, and that's the rights part. That should be pretty interesting. Hopefully more interesting when the cat kicks in. I'm definitely tired. But the other things part, what do I want to share there? There's quite a few things. I could share what I've been reading. I could share what I've been collecting. I could share the state of IronVerse Comics, which I did a tweet thread not too long ago on that, and that thread's already slightly out of date, I'm guessing. But it covered enough things, right? Um, I could share where we're at with number 4. That would be part of the state IronVerse Comics, right? I could share, well, yeah, it's kind of where I'm at, honestly. It's not too much I could share there. So, folks can't see right here, but still have 2 of the figures that are finished painted, just sitting here. I need to make up the certificate of authenticity. Not sure how I want to do that. I've got one that I packaged up forgetting about the certificate, so I've got to unpack that after I make the certificate, um, and repackage it and then mail it for a test to hopefully that these relatively delicate resin figures will survive the trip, survive the post office, right? Uh, that worries the hell out of me. I've actually got the last of the metal cards packed up. I need to take a couple of them by the post office and inquire about international. Um, I've heard there's an international stamp. If that's the case, that's what I'll be using. If not, I may have to do them in batches because it'll cost a bit more than I expected. Um, the other way. But I think with getting out all the cards domestically as I had, um, I don't see why a very similar, just slightly more expensive process could get them to you folks internationally. So that's where we're at there. I'm excited to be done on that end. Once that's done, we're done with fulfillment. Uh, just catch up. And today and tomorrow are the last days that we'll be taking the catch up orders and replacement for damaged books kind of stuff. Um, to be fair, I doubt it actually will be the last day. I don't want to leave anyone hanging, particularly if you can show me how the books got damaged or that your book didn't arrive, and I can collaborate that with our fulfillment folks. If that's the case, we'll take care of you. Don't worry about that. Um, but again, with dates, right? I've moved this last date to give me that information a few fucking times, and so I'm very hopeful folks will give me that info um, if they're missing it. Um, let's see. There's that. Um, I have been reading a bit more. Read a good amount of Gru because I've been collecting Gru. I'm trying to finish the uh, Volume 2 run from Epic and Marvel. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I think I'm missing about 30 issues now, and I got the most expensive issue of the run already, which was kind of cool. The last issue. It's like the last 20 are kind of crazy. Not completely insane. It's not like I buy the shit graded. If you buy it graded, it's like fucking 10 to 15 times more expensive. But still, I scored the last issue for about half of what it usually goes for, so that was nice. Um, and the guy threw in another copy of the first issue, which is nice. I've got a bunch of duplicates during my collection of this. So if folks are interested, anybody actually listens to this, um, and you have any ideas, I would like to do some kind of giveaway. I've got a bunch of Gemini mailers just sitting in my other room there. I've got a bunch of duplicate comics um, that can go for, between 3 and 15, $20. Um, I'd like to maybe do a giveaway on streams. Um, that would be neat. I've also got some of the Jack Iron issues that were misprinted. I wouldn't mind getting rid of a couple of them. I don't need very many. Just to have them, right? That's the only reason I want them. Wicked Publishing though has about 1,500 of those. So if we can do giveaways there, I think that's what we're gonna end up doing with them. Um, Otherwise, let's see. So collecting grew. That's been fun. Uh, just got in volume 2 of Fist of the North Star. That was really fun so far. I'm like a third of the way through. Um, was in an altered state of mind when I read one of the chapters, and there was bone purging strike. I'm probably never gonna forget it. I was like, huh, okay. Then I turn the page, and fucking, it does exactly what it says. Guy's bones are flying out the back of him. I don't know why it gets me so hard. I think it's fucking hilarious just how blunt the artist and the writer were about delivering that, and just how brutal it was. And I don't know. It's hilarious to me. Uh, so that was some quality entertainment I probably won't forget for a long time. It was just 2 pages of that thing. Um, it takes itself so seriously. I think is part of why I find it so hilarious. Just crazy serious with how it's not batshit insane. I don't know. It's juxtaposition. It's so serious. It's funny to me. Fist of the North Star so far. Um, I think when it juxtaposes that seriousness with the ridiculous gore, I think that's what does it. Um, and read a little bit of Tukey because I got Tukey in. You can check out my unboxing video on the channel. Love to hear your opinions on that. I didn't expect to be doing an unboxing video on that, but it was a larger format, which surprised me, and it's Tukey. Jess Smith is a massive inspiration. It was very cool too. Apparently, he saw the video and was kind enough to comment, let me know he saw it, and and just talk about a little bit of why he wanted to do a large format book, which is really cool. Um, I really appreciate that creator. Bone will live with me forever, and Tukey is working on it. It's a really good work. Howdy Dollar Coins, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for working hard on IronVerse writing here. This guy's the backbone. There's no question. Like if IronVerse Comics needed a spine, that's Dollar Coins. Uh, no question with the amount of writing and creation and construction. That's the big part. The geometry that he lends to the work is incredible. Um, so, you folks aren't following him. I'd appreciate if you would. If you haven't read Cax Coyote, I'd even more so appreciate if you would. We don't get enough interaction on that particular work, and I think it deserves much more than it's gotten. And it's gotten quite a few views on Medibang, but interaction is a little different than views. Um, so I'd like to see that. Yeah, I've spoken about it a million times. Appreciate you. Uh, let's see. On my end, what this writing and other things, Coyote explodes time. Just exactly. I think that's it. I think that's it. Dollar coins. I do. Just need time, and then there's enough like gas in that eyepiece tank to just. Um, Unlike Jack, which is just strong footing and pulling, but the gas in the tanks kind of. I fill it up as needed. I fill it up as needed. The best way to put that. Um, Besides Tukey and Fist of North Star, which man, I really love how they're printing those books. The books are really cool. The story's fine. Again, it takes itself so seriously, but then does this outrageous gore stuff. It's just hilarious to me. Same way sometimes Punisher can be hilarious to me. Um, but how they package the books. I've got volume one of Fist up there, where you guys probably can't see it. Um, but the hardcover format, it's just gorgeous how they put it together. It feels so quality. It's probably the most quality hardcover book I've encountered. How it feels, and then they put the extra layer. Like each volume looks like somebody was beaten with it. Blood spurts all over. So I'm uh, really loving thematic care to this cult series. It's not so cult in Japan. It's a talking about backbones. It's a backbone manga series that helped inspire most all of shonen. But over here, it was really hard to get a hold of. I think there was like one printing through Viz or something, and then they did a color printing, and those go for like hundreds of dollars per volume because it was super low print run. Um, Howdy, Scott. Howdy, howdy. I do help, and yeah, Lita helps quite a bit actually. Howdy, howdy, Scott. Howdy, howdy. We will get to writing eventually. We're doing the other things first so I can get more coffee in me. More lethargic than I'd like to be. I'm starting to feel the caffeine though, so hopefully that'll work. I updated on issue three's fulfillment. Haven't talked about issue four. That's where we're at now, then I guess. Scheduling has been a trial, and I have right now, right now I've gotten a response back, and I'm kind of letting it simmer. I think he's a bit nervous, which I kind of need him to feel at this point, just because of how things have gone. The last few times I've asked for and been able to provide the funds for work, right? And nothing. So, and I totally get it. Artists can be. It's true. He's never had this much work on his plate at one time. Now it's his fault for taking all of it. Right? Like he doesn't even have to take my work and it would be less, right? He could just tell me I can't take it, right? Um, so, but but I think it's growing pains. Uh, the man's younger than I am, uh, and I suck when I'm overwhelmed with any kind of work. So I'm trying to do both. There needs to be a pattern. I'm fine with there being space for other work. But when this work needs to be done, I need a definitive space for that to manifest. And that's been the problem. Is every time we've tried to carve out a space, it hasn't been definitive. It's felt like it could be definitive to me, but it has not. So I've been waiting to send a response so he hangs on the line a little bit so he understands how I've kind of been. um, and then try and communicate. You know, I need that. I was talking about geometry earlier with all coins. He creates a geometry of IronVerse Comics and the space outside of it, right? I put a couple points to build around, but he actually builds the geometry, the shape, the construction. I need that same rapport on a smaller scale with Jack, and have not been able to find it this year, basically at all, and it's been attempted multiple times. So issue number 4. Right now we have a loose time frame of November. I will not do anything with a loose time frame anymore. So, we're going to try and see if I can nail it down to a hard time frame for launch in November. If I can't, then I'll push it back as far as I can till I can make it a hard time frame. And if that hard time frame does not manifest any work, I move on and we manifest the work with folks who can give the time. Um, but I've always been a firm believer that things happen when and as they should. So I'm also not, freaking out. Um, so it's gonna be what it's gonna be, and we'll see. Pre-launch will be up. I'll still be marketing the thing. The script is done. There's nothing, it's just sitting there. I just, if I had the ability to fund the whole book myself, then I wouldn't even be worrying about pre-launch right now. I'd just be doing the work, and trying to get the work done. But we launched a Kickstarter for the hardcover without any new material. Now, it was on a new platform. It was a relaunch, basically, of older material, right? And we still made nearly 7K, but we needed 10 to fund. The hardcover was actually going to be on the plate for the issue 4 campaign. It was going to be a surprise for about a week or two in. I would see how issue 4 was doing, and then I'd launch the hardcover on Kickstarter so that folks who wanted issue 4 but hadn't gotten 1 through 3 could get 1 through 3 on a premium format if they'd like, or they could go straight to Wicked and pick them up, just so that there was options that so I didn't have to do another set of reprints through the issue 4 campaign. um, but losing Joseph Healy, my buddy at API Print Productions, to COVID, uh, sucked in many many ways. That guy's work is why we have issues at all for 1 through 3's last campaign. Um, so I've had to adjust there, and I'll just be going through the folks at Wicked's Print Connection, which I believe is Comics Wellspring. I'll be trying them for prices anyway, um, and probably trying them if we were to fund. Um, they're almost significantly more expensive than API, which bothers me a little bit, but you work with the tools you got, and that one at least some folks have some experience with, even if it's not amazing experience in some cases. Uh, put a lot of effort into the API connection, and uh, it sucks. It sucks a little bit. I was hoping to get them more business too because they were so kind about the misprints. They didn't have to be. Uh, but, again, things happen as they were. He gave me a wonderful direct printer communication for my first go at that myself, and I was blessed to have known the guy and to have done that small amount of work with him. Uh, but other than that, I've also been considering launching number 4 as black and white only to knock off about 2 grand from the campaign total. Um, eh, that would mean color would be our first stretch goal, as it was with the 1 and 2 campaign, which, but basically I'm looking at the campaign total and it's insanity. If I'm going to do it right, where I don't have to eat into my pocket, which I honestly can't do again. I lucked out last year with the stimulees. I don't know. And, that is what ended up going into the book alongside me saving quite a bit for my work. And I was at that point living with my father, And so with both of our stuff, we could hold down the house while I was taking care of my obligations. Uh, this coming year, uh, I can't do that. If I get myself into a hole, I may die in that hole. So I can't do that again, no matter how much I love this work. So I have to put the total where it is. In addition to that, I have, in an effort to get work moving, and as kind of has been tradition, I've raised the artists' rates and didn't get work moving. And it's I mean it only adds about 700 bucks to the total, and I say only, right? It's a good chunk of change. But when you're looking at about 15K, going down to 14.3 isn't that big of a difference. And that 15K was with API's print totals, so I got to really look at the Wellspring costs. Um, problem is, biggest problem is, and I've got a connection for cheaper art now that I really enjoy, that we're trying out with a pinup for this issue 4 campaign. I've got pinups moving, got something moving for 4. Um, what I'm trying to do, uh, significantly less per page, and it's really good art. Um, I don't know if it's up to Maxi's standard, to be fair. Maxi has more kinetic energy. There's more flow, and it's got a certain stylization that I just adore. That is 100% like core to Jack. So I don't want to do that. But nonetheless, we're moving forward where we can and how we can. Um, but I'm paying professional. I'm attempting and have been paying professional rates. Some cases above professional rates. If you're talking about IDW, Action Labs, Vault, um, any of those fucks at that tier, and IDW is at the top of that tier because they're pretty fucking big. Um, yeah, we're paying above what they pay. At least attempting to. In fact, we are paying. If you count issue 3 and issue 2, we're paying above that rate. Uh, for a little indie dude. I'm not a company. I'm not in shops. I'm not part of that industry. I'm outside of it, but I know what people deserve for their time and their talents, and I want to give it to them, and I want them to be able to set a standard where they to continue to get work outside of what I provide, that they can look back and this is what I was paid. So if you want my work, you pay me this. You know, that's part of building their footprint in this fucking industry. Um, I was given that gift. I don't know if my writing that I was paid for is actually manifesting, which annoys me a little bit. There's a whole dynamic going on behind the scenes that's bothering me that has to deal with Maxi as well. Um, besides, but in relation to scheduling. Um, but we'll see. We'll see. Basically, I'll see when that book is in my hand whether or not I got credited and whether or not that actual piece of work manifested. If it did, great, because I would love to have that on my resume. If not, great. I still got paid for it, and I was paid significantly. But it set a standard for me that when I tell folks that's what I've gotten before, but I'll work for whatever, I don't hear back because they also want to be able to give me what I've been paid before because that's the standard. So it's a weird dynamic work for hire, one that I think all of IronVerse Comics is kind of learning here and there. But anywho, that's a rant. Let me see here. Let me go into chat, folks. Sorry I've been annoying you or ignoring you. Howdy, howdy. You doing some writing? Eventually, yes. In fact, let's talk about that for a second. So there is two ideas, and it has to deal with issue number 4's stuff. So let me. We're gonna go here. And this is a work in progress. It's got multiple layers of shading still to come in. So don't freak out that it's a little bit how it. Well, you'll see. Um, but for this writing, I can either use this as a prompt. So my idea with these IronVerse Comics writing is the original idea was fan scripts. Um, so do like an 8-page Superman comic on stream, just talking with folks and showing them the process and manifesting a piece of work within, a reasonable amount of time. An 8-page short is reasonable. Um, that was the original idea, and still might be what we do today. And it would be Superman. That's where I want to start if I'm going to do that. The other idea, which I haven't pinned down how if I want to do it or not, has to do with this pinup. So I'm going to show you the pinup. This is for issue number 4. It's a work in progress. You're only seeing it here. Once it is finished, it will be going on the campaign page and possibly on the pre-launch page. But this is the first preview. I have shown folks like the face, and that's it. Um, so let's look at it. Oh, yeah, that's close, isn't it? No, but I want this. Um, can I that's in the way. I want to make it out of the way. Overlay 2, I'm guessing. Yes. All right, there you go. So work in progress. It's got base. It's been flatted and has the base shading on. So I believe there's a layer of colors to add and another layer of shading, if I'm right. So we got a new Jackie Irons pin up in the works from Illustrator Monk. Wonderful talent. Very, very much not dicking me around, which was very cool of him. And that he made the space because he works with a lot of folks. He's a very, very cool artist. Our Jackie Irons pinup, the original, very popular, very very popular. People like a sexy cowgirl. I can't blame it. IronVerse Comics, at least Jack Irons, my work. I don't lean towards the sexy, but and that was and you'll see that in this pinup a little bit. He decided to add cleavage, which was smart. The original Jackie Iron, she was turned to the side, right? So you couldn't see that. So originally she probably had that. But I asked for more of a dynamic action pose, and what he did is show me a bunch of different pulp western covers, and there's one in particular he wanted to do the pose from, and that's how we ended up with this. Um, he decided to throw the train in the background, which I think was cool. And he did the lettering on top, which I love the lettering. So this one's really tough. I almost want to do like a dime novella with this as the cover. It's so cool. um, which would be what I think a dime novella goes around 120 pages, right? Uh, I'm unsure. I'll be right back if you folks don't mind. I'm sure it is possible for me. I just prose writing is such a grind for me. It's such a grind. I but that's one of the options. The other option is throwing a 22-page comic down, just to have it down, right? Or I could do an 8-page short on it too. Um, so those are the options I had for writing today. Either do a prompt writing, the prompt being this very cool image, um, or doing a prose dime novella, uh, literally very thematic, not too short, but a short story. Um, so I haven't figured out what I want to do there. So we might just do the Superman thing because it's very direct. But first time you're seeing this, and I hope folks will like it. I like it. Did you see the 15%? Yes, and you got to put their fucking ad on your page, right? And then you have to contact them directly. The 15% would help. It certainly would help, but they so with with API, I was getting the issues for I believe $2.30 an issue, something like that. When I was buying 500, then at 1,000, it would be a buck 60. Um, with them, I think it's 325, even with the 15% discount. Uh, so it's still significant enough to add up, at about 30 to 40 cents more. Um, it's about do it about 50 cents more. It's about 250 more bucks. It's not massive, especially if I'm not complaining about the, like 700 for lowering rates. Um, so I don't know. Um, if I'm doing them, which I will take advantage of that 15%. It would be dumb not to. I just don't like the ad. It bothers me. I'm all about branding, right? and the ads, it's not terrible. It's just a little ugly, especially with how big it is. It's basically taking up, a massive amount of space on my bit. It's not taking up 15% of space. It's taking up like 35%, and it would be so blunt compared to everything else I'm doing. But again, it's 15%. So if I am using them, I will do that. I will suck it up, but I don't like it. Tell you that much. Like if I had the talent to make up my own ad that did talk about them but had Jack Irons theming, it'd be a different story. But then it wouldn't be advertising their brand to the same extent. So, it is what it is. It is what it is. It's nice that they do that. I'll tell you that much. Yeah, you got to tack it. That's where I'm gonna do it too, if and when. I'm still going to shop around a little bit. I'm going to look at Mixam's prices because they were relatively competitive with API, though I didn't like my couple exchanges with Mixam. Um, very impersonal, and I'm pretty sure Comics Wellspring will be just as impersonal, but at least they have a history with our publisher, right, at this point. So there's that. I can go through Wicked for my complaints and shit, which is what we did the first time with my first campaign. Uh, so that's something, right? That's why I would pivot there in the first place instead of trying to build a new relationship with a new printer. Um, Personally, because that bothers me. I liked API quite a bit. But anyway, a while back I was talking about the hardcover, right? Hardcover is off the table as far as I'm concerned at the moment, just because API had offered them at a reasonable price, and I could go through Mixam, I think, for hardcovers, but they'll be crazy expensive. Um, and I'm not going to run that campaign, I don't think, again. It would be, again, about 96 pages hardcover, so something like that. If we can get to issue 6, it's not bad for like a collected volume 1. Um, but yeah, I don't know if collected editions are on the table at the moment. Um, to be honest, issue 4 is on the table. I just don't know if anybody's gonna. So for the hardcover, we got about 260 signups in the couple months I ran it. This one, I've been struggling to get 150. We've been at 147 for about a week. Uh, and when you advertise something in issue 4, people don't think it's a jumping on point. So that hurts. Um, and since I can't offer 1 through 3, or else I would have to charge again for reprints, right? I have to direct people either to Wicked, who has not had another printing of 1 through 3, um, or nothing. So that's also kind of junky. But, figure it out. Figure it out. Uh, Otherwise, though, so that's kind of state there, and we were talking about when I finally want to get to the writing part of this stream. If I was going to do the dime novella, if I was going to do a 22-page comic that might manifest in the future, I was going to do an 8-page short just to do an 8-page short, or if I was going to do this a quick Superman prompt. No idea still. Probably need more coffee.
You had some issues with your variants, but they worked with us and made it right. Good. That's part of why I would go with them is because again we have experience with them. Um, so we'll see how that goes. Um, I know they reprinted at least one copy of the proof for issue one, which is great. I want to see the proof for issue two um, because that's when we started doing double page spreads, and it took a bit between me and Joseph to nail down the fixes for the double page spreads so that when you open them, they laid out properly. Particularly because Maxi centered some of the images, which really cool for like a layout, right? If you're looking at the page flat, but when it's got the crease in the middle, you gotta get it right. And it took Joseph and I at least a week or two to nail down, and he was kind enough to do that. Now, other printers that they might expect your team to have already done that, in which case my logo graphic design guy might be able to do it. I just got to know what they did to tell him to do it. So we'll figure that road when it comes. But maybe um, our first printing's a number two with whoever we were with before, the more kind of local guy that Wicked kind of had a connection with back when. That ended up not working out eventually, but worked out for my campaign, that first campaign. Um, he did that himself. Like the prince did not have that issue from the start. So we'll see. We'll see. Anywho, makes you feel better. I have 21 signups. 21's not bad, man. To fund, I need to sell 500 issues. Um, that's the problem. And it was similar with the Kickstarter. 500 copies with the Kickstarter. I think it was a little less um, with the hardcover Kickstarter because the price per book was a little higher, but it was around that. And so we got close. Again, we almost reached 7K out of the 10K. It's not bad. Um, but 150, I would say less than 10% of signups for the Kickstarter actually followed through. Um, the rest was me just hustling. Whereas with Indiegogo, I have no idea. I would like to go back and look at my issue 3 campaign to see how many of the signups we actually had and then how many actually followed through. I think that data does exist. I just gotta go through and find where it's located. But the conversion rate, from what I remember, is about 10%. Um, even when you get to the higher numbers. I think actually when you get to the higher numbers, it's more likely to be 10%. And when you've got lower signups, it's more likely that those folks are actually committed. Now, is that true? I don't know. But nah, it doesn't really make me feel better. I would like you to have many, many more. Um, I'd like comics to be more successful. I would like crazy endeavors like Jack has become to feel 100% feasible instead of a complete uphill battle. But it's business, right? You can't expect shit. Business is survival, but with rules. And if you're not out there breaking some of the rules, then it's tough. It's tough. All right, let me get to this writing here. The caffeine hasn't kicked in as well as I'd like. I'm just gonna flip a coin maybe to figure out whether or not I'm writing. It's gonna be an 8-page short. I don't have as much energy as I wish I did, and uh, let's just do this, and then if I want to write more, I can. So most folks would start with an outline. This is gonna be 8 pages, so it's pretty quick outline. Gotta figure out what I want to have happen. That's the thing. It could be a quick fight. It could be a quick cat in the tree kind of thing. Uh, 8 pages. compelling story, up, middle, down. So it's like 3 pages for the beginning, two for the middle, and three for the end. And that's your arc. Um, what do I want to do for that? It's a short. What's doesn't have to be compelling. It would be nice if it was compelling. It would be nice if it was worthy of actually making. Right? It's not gonna be made, but it'd be nice if it was worthy of being made. 8 pages with the man in blue and red. Hmm. Well, always open to suggestions. If there's a villain you'd like to see, or if there's an event you'd like to see, we'll treat this as improv. And you can go ahead and pitch something to me, and I'll try and manifest it. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to figure something out. Let's see. All right. A scene. That's what I call it. See, this is the thing too with my writing. Most people will want to do an outline, and I might. I might do scene by scene and then break it down panel by panel. Uh, yeah. Me. I wanted to do something a little bit more uplifting, but this is where my brain's leading me, so this is what we'll do. Ba, 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 ba. Now, see, I don't want to use a established villain that I can't give real credence to, right? I'd rather do, and what I think I'm going to do is a more of a Cthulhu style, uh, just galactic monster. I think that's what I'm going to do. Okay, let me see. Let me see here. That's all right. It's not quite my forte either, but it's as an icon, as a sigil. I think it's important to start somewhere with that. Let's dollar coins tips here. Neo has a setback, then Neo becomes the one. Yes. Those three things become a character arc that can tell a story. Like man readies a joke, man tells a joke, but no one laughs. Then man tells a joke and everyone laughs. Gotcha. Right now, I'm establishing the scene, which would finish here. So right now, Superman's cruising and sees destruction. By page 3 here, he's going to see the creature that's causing the destruction. Then the next 2 pages will be conflict with the being, and then the last part would be a resolution of that conflict, whether it's annihilating the being or working something out with the being. And that's the arc. Um, very basic, but that's the part of this is just to get stuff down, right? I haven't written a comic script God, I wrote 2 pages for a secret project that I'm working on um, with a buddy, but that was months ago. It was a 2 page short. This one's 8 pages. Scene. Let's call him. Seeing something like a Shumagorath kind of looking fucking circular mass with a bunch of tentacles. Uh, but it could do better than that. Something that could devour systems. Well, it doesn't have to. No, no, no. Smash systems. Could be a little dude. That's kind of fun. That's kind of a fun arc. I don't want it to be their little sprite guy, Mizzle Plick, or however the hell you pronounce it. Their Impossible Man. But something like that could be kind of cool. All right. All right, why not? This is a classic trope. It's stupid, but it can also be alternated from character design. In space, no one can hear anything, but he would see it from very far away. You are correct there, Scott. It would be sight based, but for this, it's not like for instance, I haven't set up, but it's not like he wasn't told to go here, right? That the instruction was already there. That he doesn't. It's not implied that he doesn't know and that this is a surprise with what I'm doing. This could simply be Superman. We need your help, and then he gets there. You know, why does it have that big space then between M and A? Seriously, look, that's gonna bother the hell out of me. Look at that massive space. What the fuck is that about? It's gonna bug me this whole script. It does it here too. And there. Is it just M and A have that? Yeah. Weird. Okay, that's gonna bug the hell out of me. There's like an extra indentation between M's and A's, or is it C and A also? Yeah, it's just for A's. Weird. I don't like that trope. And that's they have this guy. It's Mizzleplick, and I don't want to use Mizzleplick because he's more capricious, more of an imp than I want out of this. I want something more of a naivety that led to this destruction than than malice or chaos, right? Um, what kind of character design would lend itself to that naivety? Oh, I like that. Okay, okay, okay. Shapeless mass is kind of stupid, but it works for now. All right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This isn't amazing, but you'll see. I think you folks will see what I'm getting at. So page 5 was basically the conflict, the attempt at a fight, but this fight can't happen no matter how hard uh, Clark wants it to. Um, the being is just it's otherworldly, it's other dimensional. Um, might as well be magic. So he can't fuck with it. So page 6, he realizes. So the main thing that would sell this script is this being's personality. So that's going to come in. This is just the outline again. That'll come in panel to panel, and the expressions of the conflict. Right. That's how we will develop that character and will allow it to actually be intriguing. Uh, Howdy, George. No. I don't want to use any established villains because I'm not that well versed in Superman lore. Um, I know Bizarro. Bizarro is extra dimensional. That's very good. But he's also got this mix of depending on the rendering of Bizarro, he can be really dumb or he could be just opposite, right? But basically Clark. It's kind of all over the place with his renderings. Like I don't want to do Brainiac. I don't want to do Clark. I don't want to do Metallo or not Clark. Bizarro. I don't want to do Metallo. I don't want to do Luther. This is just a random encounter with a space being. Um, that maybe Clark was, sent to investigate. The Green Lantern Corps is somewhere else, something like that. Just an 8-page short to manifest a little bit of writing. And I'm thinking more of almost a Beyonder type of character where he's out to learn and he's all powerful and he's naive. So that all powerful naivete causes problems. That's where I'm at. Where physical conflict can't happen because the being simply does not want it to happen. So it doesn't matter how fast Clark is or how powerful he is. It doesn't matter. This being is might as well be God. Um, that's the kind of thing I'm thinking of. Um, and so 6, 7, and 8, it's super important that Clark is able to communicate something that makes the creature, reverse the damage he's done, and that'll finish this 8-page short, right? Uh, with a little bit of conflict, a little bit of Clark being, this all-powerful being that still is very human and solves things in human terms, uh, even against all-powerful beings. That's what I'm doing here for the heck of it. So the dialogue is going to be super important, basically key, and the paneling and actions gotta be communicative of character. Um, Cramming a lot into a very short space. This is just the outline step as well. We will get to the dialogue, which is going to be very difficult, and the paneling. So, communicate what's being done. So by then, there doesn't have to be continued conflict, and then page 8 could be the fix. So page 7 is realization. This story's been told many times. I think there's even a Star Trek episode where it's something like that. Like it's not Q, uh, but kind of like Q. It's not Q, but kind of like Q. Um, Anywho, let me see. So he'll discuss the physics and the mechanics in 6. 7. 7 should reveal the emotional depth of the being. Again, realization and empathy is page 7. How do I communicate that in the scene, though? Um, that would do it, but it's dumb. Uh, I want it to be an inner realization, not an outer enforced one. An outer enforced one's easier. Like I could have an elder of that type of being show up and chastise him in page 7 here, right? And that would solve this. It would force the empathy to move forward and the realization to move forward. But I don't want it forced from the outside. I want it to be a connection with Clark on a human level, and that's the point of it. Uh-huh. All right. Well, I guess. Nah, maybe a reverse Thanos. I don't care. If I can think of something better during the paneling step, I will. Something like that. Something like that. Now that's again just bones. Ah, M and E does it too. What the hell's with that extra indent? Bugs the hell out of me. Hey, dollar coins. What are you nudging me for? Happy to hear. Part of doing this stuff live is the interaction. Um, but there's the bones. There's the bones. We have our arc. Arrives. Source of the conflict. The conflict. Resolution of the conflict. And all of it was just a dream. No, it was reality, but it was replaced. I would think like the last panel, I'd have the Jimmy Olsen with a creepy fucking smile, transparently embossed in space as Superman's going towards Earth. That would be the final panel here. But yeah, what's with the elbow nudge? All right, I'm gonna start working on panels. So this is more of a scene, so I'm gonna have to break this down and actually put it into dialogue and panel setup. So just let me get the idea down. All right. That's just so I don't forget the idea. All right. Hold on. Also, I rely quite a bit on the artist to manifest the stuff. It's the Coof. Hello, no shaking hands. Replaced by. Oh, yes, yes. When will we return to New Deadwood in Rimworld? Oh, what time is it? If I finish this early enough today, today. Otherwise, it'll have to probably be next week. So do I want to communicate it all through dialogue, or do I want to do captions? Bum, 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 bum. I'm going to need to rephrase that, but that'll do for now. Super. Again, this is going to be terrible. This is clunky as hell. Clunky as hell. So that would be cleaned up in like other drafts. There we go. Then I can delete that now. Clunky as all hell. So here's where I add my bit and make it slightly less wholesome. All right. Hmm. So here's the thing. Depicted in most media, Kal-El's X-ray vision is a choice to utilize. Just like he doesn't always breathe out ice, right? He's not all the time breathing out ice. So if he isn't choosing to use X-ray vision, this bit works. If the X-ray vision is like this omnipresent deal that's he's always utilizing, right? Always throwing out X-rays, then this might not work unless they're lead chunks of yeah, planet made of lead. That doesn't really work. Oh, that's tough. That's tough. Does he? I feel like it's always a choice. Like I'll use my X-ray vision, and then he does it. Like he doesn't even have to say that or anything. It's just like it's a choice. I don't think he's always using it. But would he choose to use it as he's smashing through things? Probably. But why would he? Changing direction's kind of a pain in the ass in space. Maybe that's part of it. Because I like this bit. Well, what it would be is he smashes through this larger chunk and then he smashes into a corpse. That's what I thought too, George. That's what I thought too. Um, so that's my thing. But like in space, does he have to worry about that? And why wouldn't he use his X-ray vision unless it somehow fucks with other spectrums he can see with normal vision? I don't think that's a thing. And if he's flying through shit, I think he wants to know what's on the other side of it. He lives in a world of cardboard, always trying not to break something or someone. So this bit doesn't work, even though it's kind of cool. That's why I'd have him do is smash through, and then he smashes into a corpse and fucking explodes everywhere, and then he sees the destruction of all this shit. starts breaking down psychologically, and then he recognizes the alien, goes straight to him to try and figure out what the hell's going on, and then that starts all the stuff. But would a Superman reader be able to think that Cal would smash through a large chunk of rock, not looking through the other side, and then smash into a corpse? It's just a better way to introduce the destruction than, say, just seeing the destruction, which is what happens the next panel anyway. But the shock of exploding a body that he didn't think was there, I think is kind of neat. The problem is, I'm not sure if that is canon to the character enough. Like, that's a pretty forgetful Superman. Now, I've thousands of issues. That's tough. That's tough. I don't know. We're gonna go with it, and if it doesn't work, it's easy enough to change that. I just like the moment of shock that he smashes through an alien corpse that he didn't think was gonna be there. That these planets weren't destroyed to the point that these bodies would be evaporated, but was almost pulled apart. Yeah, see, I thought about that too, doing lead, right? That's too much setup. It's too many perfect things in place for it to seem logical to me. So we're just gonna go with this, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's fine with me for now. Again, this is just for fun anyway. And it would be panel 6. We'll go with that for now and go from there. All right. Not 12. Panel 1 of page 2. Most. There we go. Something like that. Here we go. Aha. We're getting there. We're getting there. Nah, this whole system was pulled apart. So what I'm doing is this being manifested in this dimension. Um, didn't know what was really going on, the geometry, the shapes, the ideas, the thought forms of this dimension. Didn't drive it insane. It's just was things it didn't comprehend. So it starts pulling things apart to try and understand them. And that's where the conflict will come, is that it doesn't understand what it's doing. It's trying to figure out what it's doing, why it is, all of that. And Clark will be there to explain. Start a conflict, of course, because he fucking destroyed an entire system, pulling it apart piece by piece. But all powerful being. Uh, in fact, it'd be better to. Appendages. Six. There we go. That'll do it. There we go. All right. Take care, Scott. Thanks for stopping by and saying howdy. Much appreciated. Hmm. Not absolutely in love, but it works. Dialogue's gonna be a pain on this script. Give me 1 second, folks. This might just be a part one as well, but I want to check something. Mainly, yeah, I could throw a bit more time on this. All right, all right, all right. I'm just a bit intimidated by what I have to do at this point. This is the tougher point of this. So, what I need to do now is communicate the conflict. Like they'll meet, this creature shifts into something familiar. I could do Lois, I could do Jimmy. I think I might actually switch to Lois just because it's got that extra weird level in it where this creature like scanned him. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll do this so I can talk to you. It's got that Contact, the movie Contact kind of bit to it, which would be kind of fun. Uh, but and that's going to need to change, of course, as it was doing this. Might want to change page 3 to him trying to stop those appendages. From ripping, but the plant's already destroyed. Everything's already frozen. The atmosphere has disappeared. Everything's dead. It's now just pulling it apart. So at this point, the appendages aren't stopping anything, or aren't really causing any more damage than's already done. So stopping them's kind of pointless. Stopping the actual creature might not be, so that it doesn't do this again to another system. So speeding towards the creature is probably the logical course. Yeah, okay. Oh, come on, type. Okay, don't type then. Clunky, 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 clunk. Little bit of editing. Yeah, see, this is getting a little awkward. I'm gonna have to figure out how to, because I like that. Smashes through, and then suddenly, boom, it's all back. It shows the creature's power right away, and that it can fix everything, without directly telling the reader that it will fix everything. So I like that. Uh, just this is where the dialogue, like that's really awkward. I gotta fix that, but that does it.
Interesting. Howdy, dollar coins. What is that? I can't see that emoji. Ah, it's a snail. Yes, I'm going very slow.
Yeah. Thanks. It's something. It's something. This dialogue's the thing I gotta nail. 'Cause the conflicts already, like the physical conflicts already just hit a wall. There's nothing he can do. Um, that's terrible too. I gotta fix that. Again, that's gonna have to be written to be more descriptive. Jeez, it's not typing half of what I type. There you go. In fact, I think that deserves its own panel. See, that's kind of... simplest works. I have no idea how Clark's going to argue his way out of this. No idea yet. I have no idea. I made this thing a little see, that's not it. It sucks when it doesn't write what I wrote. Yeah, page 6 is how Clark talks it out of breaking everything down into pieces so it can understand. He's got to convince it that the pieces have to be understood on an individual nature and not simply broken apart and gathered. I guess I'd call this thing the Peacemaker. Is that peace, Piece, Peacemaker. Got its title. Okay. God, page 6, 7, and 8. 6 and 7 are gonna be tough. 8's not that bad. That one's easy. The resolution's gonna be easy, but 6 and 7 is oof. This is a rough one. That's getting there. Ugh, it's not even catching half of what I write. It's really annoying with a wireless keyboard. It's a lot of nonsense, folks. It's a lot of nonsense. Basically, I'll get this rough down, and then we'll do another stream at some point to really edit it and try and make the nonsense hit harder. Right now, it is just pure nonsense. The arguments are nonsense, and the back and forth is relative nonsense. Like this scene thing, I'm going to have to change that too. You could do that. Let's be 5 and 6. All right, something like that. So, scene. This is all right. There you go. Took a while for 8 pages, didn't it? So I think the next time on IronVerse Comics Writes, we'll work on cleaning up the Peacemaker. Um, there's a lot of clunky dialogue. A lot of the argument that's being made in it is nonsense. So that needs to be cleaned up. But the bones are there. So there you go, folks. I guess that'll do it. Um, it's all right. I think it's Superman-y enough. It showcases a couple of his superpowers, which he got to as Superman, but then it leans on his humanity, discussing something greater than himself, which Superman as a character to me is that argument, humanity, but being greater than itself and using that in the best ways. So I think I got that across, but there is a lot of cleanup to do. Um, I think the ending's fine. I like it better than what I had in the bones. Uh, but yeah, the arguments are nonsense, and it's really important that they hit right. So that's something that's going to need to be reworked. If I was the editor of this, which I am, that's the main thing I would communicate to the writer is, do better. Make the argument an actual argument and not just nonsense back and forth. Um, this kind of stuff is clunky, so I want to fix some of that. Um, I think you could add a little bit more dynamics to the point of why he looks like Lois. I didn't do that. Like, he mentions it once, like, I don't care what you look like, I'm still going to stop you. So it did play into the plot, but it wasn't that important. And maybe it could be integrated as something more important. But 8 pages, a full story. It's a good little short, I think, especially for a guy who's not the hugest, most knowledgeable Superman fan. I think it does all right. I think it does all right. But yeah, folks, I probably will catch you again to edit this son of a bitch, and we'll look at it and we'll see if it's actually as decent as I think it was. But it was nice to write something, and I wanted to do something like this. So what I will do instead, let's add this. We'll call this. All right. Superman short #1, and then what we'll do is we'll do things like this, and then the next one I'll do like I'd like you folks to vote, like, but they'll all be 8 page shorts. I think is what I'll do. Um, Let's do that just so it's obvious. But it works. So, something. Let's see how long that took. I was trying to hopefully get it done within 45, and I did. Look at that. Well then, I think we're good for this stream. I might be back later. I do have things I would like to do today. That's odd. I guess I gotta check that out. But anywho, I appreciate you folks. Thanks for joining me. We'll do another IronVerse Comics Rights at some point. Again, I'd like them to be weekly. I don't know if I'll be able to. I'm hoping bi-monthly, and there's a lot of series on this channel that I have just I've tried and then lost the fuel for. IronVerse Quickies. I'd like to get that back on track. The AI art I've taken a break from just because it didn't seem to do too much for the channel. Though I did like it, so we'll maybe try and do a piece a week again or something like that instead of one every day, which I did for like 2 months straight. Um, I haven't done an Ironverse Comics interview for a long time. I'd like to maybe get another one of those done. And we're moving towards issue 4, so we'll see how that goes. But thank you all so much for joining me. I'm Cody with Ironverse Comics, and I will catch you on that rusty Ironverse Comics trail. You folks take care. And I guess what I'll do is I'll share these on Patreon, so patrons will have access to these scripts. Otherwise, you got to be here kind of live with me to talk about it. I think that's fair enough. Anyway, take care, folks.